The cable wants you, our customer, to know that we are here for you every day. Just log into us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send us your feedback at email customerservice@thecable.biz. Visit our website www.thecable.net. It's also nice to know you can pay your bills at a distance, online at all commercial banks, or at www.thecable.net/pay. Now's the time to try online banking. It's ultra easy. Call us at 465-2588, 662-7742, or 763-0184. The Cable. We're here for you.
Well, good afternoon to you once again. We'll take your calls in just a moment. We just have to hear now from the Prime Minister. Who's going to make a brief announcement, and then we're going to hear from you. So do stand by. We'll take your calls in a moment. Mr. Prime Minister.
Thank you. Very quickly, I am aware that on Monday, the Social Security Board will begin the first batch of payments with respect to self-employed persons and those workers, that is, employees, who would have lost income as a result of the COVID-19. These employees principally would be persons engaged in the tourism and hospitality service. The self-employed category, of course, is a wide group. It would include the braiders, the taximen, and other persons who are involved in self-employment. Again, Monday, the Social Security Board has advised it will begin the first payment. So some persons will be processed for Monday, and I gather and expect that every day thereafter, to the extent the necessaries are fulfilled, that persons will be paid. So Monday, the first batch of self-employed persons and employees who would have lost income as a result of the COVID-19 will be in receipt of the $1,000 commitment from Social Security. Of course, bearing in mind that that $1,000 may be adjusted if the person is not fully out of work, that is on reduced days, and is earning, for example, $200 per month, he will get a top-up of $800, so that his minimum earnings would be $1,000. The self-employed person, they know who they are. Those are being processed starting on Monday. The government, in order to assist with and to allow persons to benefit from the easement in the regulations, has determined that the government auxiliary employees will be paid on Thursday, the 23rd of April. So all so-called non-establishment workers will be paid on Thursday, the 23rd of April. That is because Thursday and Friday are the 2 additional days next week that are reserved for persons to go about their normal business, of course always abiding by the regulations which call for the wearing of masks, for example, the observance of the 6 feet distancing. So those persons will be facilitated with early payment. I gather in terms of the government as a whole, arrangements are also being made, and arrangements are being made for early payment. The Accountant General should have and will make the necessary announcement. I should say too, for the farmers and fishers, that the government has listened. We have heard the advice, particularly regionally and at the level of the FAO, that in small countries and from our own knowledge, farmers tend to be engage a limited number of support personnel, and therefore the social distancing can be easily effected. And therefore in these regulations, number 14 of 20, and I hope the Fisheries Department and the Agriculture Department have these on their apps and on their website, provision has been made for farmers and so on to get a bit more time to be able to become involved in the food support. So that is some good news with respect to the farming community. Equally, there is some good news with respect to those who are involved in construction, in that on the days of limited business operations, provision has been made in Regulation 16, subsection 9, for persons, and I'll read this section, during a day of limited operation. And those days are Monday next week, Tuesday next week, Thursday next week, and Friday next week. Works of construction, farmers and fishers may operate and shall adhere to social distancing and physical distancing protocols pursuant to Regulation 7. We go to Regulation 7, and it sets out the requirements with respect to social and physical distancing. In other words, the 6 feet provision, etc., etc. So once every health precaution is being taken, there is a facilitation for those who are involved in construction, which means then we are seeing an easement. More persons will be able to get out in the world of work, earn some income, but we must do so in a measured way. The public transportation, again, there's been every effort to assist the bus operators. There will be increase in the number of passengers that they can carry, but of course that is under Regulation 16.8. Before we had 1 passenger per row. Now there shall be no more than 2 passengers per row. So it means they can go from about 4 or 5 to about 8. The bus would normally take between 14 and 15. So they are in a better position financially. However, all this is contingent, and the bus operators observing not just the social distancing, the staggered approach to the seating of passengers. The masks will have to be worn, and they will also have to have sanitizers and ensure that they clean the seats, the doorknobs, and all other places, surfaces of the buses to minimize this transmission. So we are attempting to help as many persons as possible, but we want people to exercise caution because we are not yet out of the woods. There is also some respite, if you will, given with respect to weddings. And I know before this batch of regulations, several weddings had to be postponed. I hope that the love still abounds, and they can now take advantage of that opportunity in a restricted way. We don't, and we are not accommodating large weddings. So Regulation 16 at subsection 7 says, notwithstanding Regulation 10, which says no wedding, during a day of limited operation, that is, you could marry Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, a person may attend a wedding, but no more than 10 persons should be in attendance, no more than 10. So choose your friends and family who are very special, who must be there to be there. We keep it down to a minimum. The 10 person, in addition to the 10, 1 officiant should be in attendance. That may be the pastor. Essential camera technicians could be in attendance, and only 2 essential witnesses should be in attendance. The normal thing of having somebody, as it were, to sign the books and whatever else needed to be signed. Those persons are given some protection by the legislation, and all persons except the bride and groom shall adhere to social distancing and physical distancing protocols subject to Regulation 7. So those are some new developments, some of the easement, the relaxation of the restrictions, again contingent on persons abiding with all the other provisions of the regulations. I can say also, with respect to the farmers and fishers, I have spoken with the Director of Fisheries, Mr. Mark Williams. He should establish the protocols by which fishing in particular will take place. So this he is specifically responsible for the fishing subsector. With respect to the other sector of agriculture, and agriculture generally by FAO is defined to include forestry, fisheries, and crop and livestock. With respect to livestock, the Department of Agriculture will continue to provide free Betical to you. This is a wonderful opportunity. Betical is a very, very expensive product, but it's critical to maintain the good health of our livestock. With the easement, the Agriculture Department will be charged with offering land preparation services as part of our new trust in food security, and the land preparation services will be made available for an initial period freely. I hope Mr. Melvin James and his staff are well prepared to advise how these services will be offered around the country within the 4 working days which are available in a manner of speaking. In addition, Mr. Melvin James should have organized for the payment of certain grants, particularly to the livestock farmers who would have suffered greatly last year. I want to remind the farmers that we have waived water payments for a particular period of time. Those have been stipulated in the stimulus. So we are seeing now a gradual build-out of the stimulus package affecting all sectors. And I thought that with respect to the accommodations, the adjustment in the payments as they come to me, I should share in this program. The good news, your Social Security $1,000 payment, that's a threshold amount, that begins on Monday. Doesn't mean that everyone will get on Monday, because the necessaries in relation to processing have to be completed. And that relates to both self-employed and employees. And as I said, the government auxiliary employees, they will be paid early. And of course, the STEP and other workers will be paid early in the coming week. So we are doing all that we can to make life easier for our people.
And thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. We now take calls from our listeners. Our numbers are 4660989, 6620989, 7620989. Our overseas numbers 718-285-6984, 305-921-4619, 0333-344-0065. And those numbers are on our website, www.winnfm.com. We go to the phone lines. Caller, you're live and on the air. Thanks for waiting. Hello, caller. All right.
And Prime Minister, can I have a definitive answer on the food delivery issue? Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for your call. Our numbers are 4660989. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Try and get as many callers in before we go to the Prime Minister. Call you on the air. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller. You're live and on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Backus.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, notwithstanding what the CMO said about testing, it seems to be the consensus, certainly in larger countries, that even more widespread testing is required before they can return to any semblance of normalcy. Is that also true in smaller countries like ours? And are they making preparations for that? To the Prime Minister, are you still the CARICOM point Prime Minister on health matters at this time, or have you deferred to the current chairman, Barbados's Prime Minister Motley? And finally, what the local and foreign businesses that we don't expect a return to some semblance of normalcy anytime soon? Isn't that contradictory to the stated goal of wanting to be the first country in the region to be back to normal, so to speak? And wouldn't